What's up, YouTube? You know who I am, and today I got a movie review / explained of Hereditary. I've seen this movie twice already. I saw it Thursday night, the first day it came out, and it was so good I had to see it again, so I saw it Friday night. And right now it's Sunday, so I had a lot of time to think about it, because there is a lot of thinking to do about this movie. There's a lot of research also you have to do if you want to understand it. So let's get straight into it. Basically, this movie is about this cult run by the grandma, and she's in on it the whole time. And so is Joan, who is that lady who has the grandson, and her son died. So they're both in on it the whole time. And basically, they're worshiping this demon called Paimon. I read an interview with the director, and he said he didn't want to just use the devil as, someone to worship, because every movie is like worshiping the devil. So he wanted to pick another kind of demon, and so he picked Paimon. So yeah, the grandma's in on it the whole time, and Joan is in on it the whole time. She approaches Annie, and from there we can see maybe she's just trying to help, but then we find out that she is part of the cult. We see the Paimon symbol, which is that weird looking logo that you see the grandma wearing on her necklace, and also Annie has it, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't know what it means. So if you look up the definition for hereditary online, it's basically something being passed down from genetics, which kind of makes sense because the grandma and Annie and the son and the daughter are all blood relatives, except for the dad. The reason you don't see the dad's head get cut off, but you see all of the other people, like all three of the girls, their heads are all cut off. See, because when Annie goes into the attic and she finds her dead mom, Ellen, in the attic laying down, but she doesn't actually know. She thinks it is because her blood is like black and stuff. She says she can't recognize it, but she does say, I think it's my mom, and her head's chopped off, which is why I think her grave was dug up by one of the cult members, probably one of the naked guys that we see all throughout the movie. And so, because we see at the beginning of the movie, Ellen has her head when she dies. So maybe she died of an illness before she was able to sacrifice herself by cutting off her head. And so someone dug up the grave and cut her head later on. And then we see Annie at the end sewing her head off with the piano wire, which is one of the best scenes in all of horror, I have to say. That scene stuck with me. I have that image in my head. It's such a good image. Such a good scene, just sewing her head off. It's so good. And then we see Charlie, the daughter, she loses her head, and in a kind of a coincidence way. So I read an article online interviewing the director, saying that Charlie's death wasn't just a coincidence. It was designed by the cult, which when I saw the movie the second time, I noticed this. I didn't notice it the first time, is when Peter and Charlie are driving to the party, they drive past the telephone pole, and they show it has the symbol on it, the Paimon symbol. And when I read the article and said this Charlie's death was designed by the cult, probably the grandma had something to do with it when she was dead, because you see a lot of people do some crazy shit. I think the grandma possesses people from time to time, which is why we might see that weird blue light. But that's another topic. But yeah, so I think the grandma maybe put that dead animal on the road somehow through like her spirit or her ghost in the exact spot where that telephone pole is, because that's not a coincidence. I had the logo on it. So she put that dead animal there in a way where he had to swerve and then hit the pole at the exact time where her head was out the window. It's definitely not a coincidence. Nothing in this movie is a coincidence. You see, everything is done for a reason. Every single shot, every single scene has meaning to it. So all the three girls have lost their head, and they're looking for a male body so that Paimon can enter. And so what Paimon does is he needs you see it in the book when Annie, I don't know if it's in the attic or some room, but she goes into a book and finds Paimon, and it's highlighted and like underlined and shit, where it says, yeah, you need a male body you need not sacrifice, but you need a male body for Paimon to enter, which is why the grandma is like, oh, I wish Charlie was a boy. Yeah, I think that's also why Charlie's kind of weird. So yeah, Joan was in on it the whole time. Something I noticed the second time was when Joan brought Annie to her house and was doing the ritual to get her her grandson to talk through the cup on the table. We don't know what the fuck she's reading off. We don't know what she's saying. And then when Annie tries to leave, and then Joan reaches into her cupboard, pulls out something, just a piece of paper, and hands it to Annie. It says, read these, every syllable, every word, whatever. And like that's all we hear about it. We don't know what it is. We don't know what's on this paper. But I looked closely at the paper the second time I saw this movie. I thought it was like a pamphlet the first time I saw it. But the closer I looked at it, it's just a paper with words on it that I think are spells to summon this demon, or spells to make the mom go crazy, or to do something. But that paper that she read was definitely not what she thought it was. It was some crazy shit that maybe summons a demon, summons Charlie, summons the grandma. It's definitely not what you think it was. And that was something I thought was really cool. Like, she didn't even question the paper. She just took it and read it. So one thing I noticed was there was this writing on the walls of, I think it was Charlie's room. And it was writing in like a little black marker or pen or something. And I noticed it the first time, but I knew it had some significance, but I didn't remember what the writing was when I walked out. But the second time I saw the movie, I wrote it down on my phone. And so the first one we see, it says Satani. The second one is Zazaz, Z-A-Z-A-S. And the third one was Liftoch Pandemonium. And I was like, okay, what the fuck? I Googled it immediately after the movie during the credits. And Satani, I didn't really find anything. But Zazas and Liftoch Pandemonium, if you Google it, literally one of the first results says the Lucifer's Bible. And I'm like, okay, maybe the grandma had something to do with this, maybe possessing Charlie into writing it. So I don't know what language this is, but it's definitely from some kind of demonic book, some crazy shit like that. And I don't know what language it is, probably Latin or something, but someone did say that Zaza something means like open the gates of hell, and Liftoch Pandemonium means like summoning some kind of demon or whatever. I couldn't really understand it because it's in a different language, but that definitely has something to do with the fact that this family goes crazy, and I think the grandma definitely had some play in it, either taking control of Charlie's mind, and so that makes maybe Charlie go crazy, and that makes this whole house go crazy. Basically, the grandma is just the mastermind of this whole plan, trying to get this Paimon into someone's body, and eventually, at the end, Paimon goes into the body of Peter when he goes up to the attic, and the movie ends. That's it. There's a lot of room for speculation, a lot of room for talk. I think he did enter the body. One thing I did read on Reddit was one of the test audiences, like back in the day. I think this movie was out maybe a couple months ago, but that wasn't the true ending to the scene, to the movie. The movie originally ended with Peter like ripping his eyes out or something, but that's what I read online, or like poking his eyes out, or ripping something like to do with him destroying his eyes, which makes sense because you see in the book that Charlie had scratched out Peter's eyes, and when Peter goes into the attic, there's a picture of him with his eyes poked out, and so that does make sense. But then I read that part was too gruesome to show to the public, so they got rid of that final scene and ended it just with Heil Paimon or whatever, and then the movie ended. But I could say so much more about this movie. What do you guys think? I thought it was such a good movie. Definitely the best horror film for a long time that's been out. And it definitely is up there with a lot of movies. So many great scenes, just like the sewing scene and the headless people bowing to the fucking thing of Charlie and to Paimon. And this movie is so tense, such a good original movie. I can talk about it for days. I want to see it again just to see that scene of the mom sewing her head off. That's such a good scene, guys. Oh my god, that scene got me. It's so good. So what do you think? I hope this explanation helped for you guys. I might make a part 2 if I think of some more stuff, because there is so much to talk about of this movie. And yeah, so leave some comments. Don't forget to like the video if this helped you. Leave your opinions down below in the comments, and I'm out. Thank you guys. Peace.